Alright, so I've made some recent updates to my enchantment manipulation tool, and they've made significant improvements to the extreme cracking method. This is mostly inspired because I've been playing on a 1.1 server with some friends, and the current method was very slow, especially because my connection is really bad. I have to set the delay to like 500 milliseconds. So things were just not working, and I looked for another way to do it. So I figured out a neat little trick to make your extreme cracking a lot faster. Just how much faster? Well, I made a nice little Desmos graph here. So first we'll look at what the average amount of advance is necessary to find an extreme for uh, it's like beta 1.9 pre-release 4 to like not sure what the version is, but I think it's to 12W01A or maybe to 1.0. In any case, it's the slower of the two version ranges, and the old method, you would have to advance an average of 859 times. And with this new method, you only need an average of 55, which is just about 6 times faster, or you'll be cracking. In other words, you only need 16% of the time to crack your enchanting seed, on average, of course. And then if we look at the numbers for the second version range, which includes 1.1 up to 1.2.5, the old method needed an average of 53 advances per extreme, and the new method needs only 13, so it's 3.2 times faster, or you're only spending 31% of the time you were before. Now that's pretty cool, but how do we do it? Well, unfortunately, you're going to need some redstone. This may look similar to the setup necessary in 1.3 and above, because we need to control the amount of bookshelves that are available. So I will include this world as just a download so that you can look at it in better detail. I hope this redstone makes sense. So let's give a little brief overview. So this is the enchanting portion. And note that it is important that these two bookshelves are missing, because whenever we toggle this and these pistons enable, they will disable. Well, I can just visualize it. It will disable all of these bookshelves, which will only leave 7 bookshelves active. And this is important. It needs to be 7, because otherwise the trick doesn't work. So let's just put that back. Okay, so what is all this redstone doing? Well, it's just a toggle latch, because we need to, of course, keep the GUI open during the entire manipulation process. So if I grab a couple items here, and you drop one off to the side of the menu, why did that not work? There we go. It should fall onto this pressure plate and trigger it. Maybe I don't have the pressure plate there. I don't know. You can experiment with this interface and figure out what works best for you. But in any case, so you take a signal from here, and then I have 2 designs of a redstone toggle latch. If you have slime, then you can make this nice little just piston-based design. There's nothing hidden or anything. Both of these pistons are sticky. And if you don't have slime, then you can use this much larger, but, well, you don't need slime for this. And this will also work. So if I hook that up to the output instead of the piston design, you'll see that the toggle works. I guess that torch burnt out. That's curious. Anyways, So yeah, the process looks pretty similar to how the method worked beforehand. So you'll need to drop an item off and make sure... Oh my goodness, why are these torches deciding just not to work anymore? For goodness sake. Okay, maybe let's not use the torch-based setup. So redstone torches are deciding not to work. I've literally never had this happen before, but of course it's gonna happen when I demo it. Because of course it does. Anyways, yeah, drop your item off. And this will enable the bookshelves. And then you'll need to put your item in. Make sure you do all of your setup correctly. And then the setup for this is exactly the same as in the original tutorial. So you can either use the Windows print screen or the robot. All that setup's exactly the same. So we just enable the searcher, and then we search. And I'm going to cut over all of this so that you don't have to wait the few minutes, but that's fine. Alright, now that that has finished, we can crack the RNG. And we'll wait for that to finish up. Alright. And after that's done, to engage the full bookshelf power, you take your item out, drop something over, you'll hear the pistons retract, and then you can put your tool back into the bookshelf, and then from here, we'll just chant something dumb, just to prove that everything's working. Sure. So advance is 0, slot 3, 14, 27, 40. We're just on the first advance. And boom, there we go. So that's pretty much it. I guess something else I'll mention, just in case it isn't obvious. This new version of the tool, 1.8.0 and above, if you try and use the Extreme Cracker without having the correct amount of bookshelves and having the bookshelf swapping setup, then it won't work anymore because it kind of depends on this. So yeah, just by exploiting some clever usage of being able to change the amount of bookshelves to both make extreme values more likely to appear, and also using power of 2 next int calls, it makes the process just a whole lot faster and everyone happier. So yeah, that's all for now.